Let's try another take there. Hello there, my bowfishing brethren. It's Tim Dance from THS Sporting Center. It is, I think, May 3rd. Been shooting for a little bit here, daytime trip, Saginaw Bay. The action is it's a little slow, but some big fish. So I figured quit being a bump on the log and boohooing and break out the video camera and start videotaping a little bit. But shot a couple of nice ones. One of them maybe 18 pounds or so. A couple of 12s and so, but some good sized fish.
This year I've been sort of in a slump, mentally as well as, I guess, shooting. I haven't been able to quite have that laser focus that I sometimes have. That really allows me to connect, and some that I've earned a reputation for, I guess. Here's a close-up of me taking the line off the arrow after the arrow passed through the fish, and then taking it and putting it back through the hole in the back of the arrow, and then doing a figure 8 over the back. This is the fastest way to get your arrow off and on, basically on a pass-through. Yes, people have to be concerned about not using a safety slide and injuring yourself, but also keep in mind which direction you're pulling in when you're caught in snags. That is, like you're caught in a snag or something like that. You have to be careful which direction you're pulling in. Little slow-mo stuff. I always like those. Today was, again, sort of a slow day, so I decided to try to poke a couple of gars. The reason I avoid shooting at many gars is it's in deeper water. I'm getting a lot of pass-throughs, and the gar scales is very tough on your line. And I'm shooting expensive arrows. Nobody likes losing arrows. And I've had it where it's happened, where I've shot through a gar, and everything happened just right after a couple shots, and end up losing an arrow because the line is cut due to the sharpness of those scales. So I built this bow rack out of 1-inch square aluminum tube, and then took insulating foam, pipe insulating foam, to protect the bows from the aluminum. And it has been extremely helpful in several cases. I carry little bungee cords to fasten them to the bars when I'm underway, but it gives you a place to set your bow when you're dealing with a fish. Very, very convenient. I've had other systems on other boats that did similar things, but so far this is my favorite setup that I've come across. I love shooting goldfish. You back up 30, 35 years ago plus, you're hard-pressed to see a few a year, if that. And now, in the past, say, at least 5-6 years in Saginaw Bay, they're regular occurrences. There's been evenings or days in which that I have shot more than 12 of them in the same shoot. It's important for bow fishermen to get along with the public. And other boaters come by and make a nice comment or something like that. It's nice to make sure you acknowledge them and appreciate their attention. And so there was a nice person drove by and just said, "Good shot."
That is a black catfish. Woo.
So what I'm doing here is trying to point out some of the things that I'm looking for. One of these days I'm going to get better software. And, not all fish are just standing out, plain as day. Especially when they're sitting still. You're looking for silhouettes. You're looking for color changes. There's little subtleties that you can look for, and then picking your shots. That's a lot of those things go into a successful bow fishing trip. So this year I started making an effort into improving my gaffing skills. And so there's two trails of thought here. There's pulling versus slapping. And in years past, I've been one of those guys that does gaff pulls. And I'm finding out slapping takes a little bit more practice, but seems to be more effective. During the right conditions and full sun, fish will come up sometimes to sun themselves amongst the weeds like this. And that gives you a shot opportunity. And here's one right here. The little guy was hiding out in the weeds. So sometimes with my gaffing, I happen to use some sentence enhancers because of my frustration in learning how to do this, I guess you could say. But nonetheless, I'm improving. It's going to take a bit, but I'm working on it.
Hang a bit yet. Practice, practice, practice.
One of the absolute must is a great pair of polarized sunglasses for daytime shooting. I have two pairs of glasses from Vicious Vision. One is in the copper tone, the other one is in the gray tone. And depending on water conditions, sky conditions, I guess you could say, if it's intermittent cloudy, I'll just switch between the two glasses till I find which one is working best that day. But I do like the copper ones. Those are typically my favorite for full sun and at least clearer water. So I've taken some, I think it was 1 1/4 inch PVC and cut a track through it, which allows me to stick the hook of the gaff through the side, so sliding it up and down. And And look at that. Hey, a successful swing and a hit there. But it's a great way to store a gaff, so it's easily accessible. I can pull them and use them as need be, set them back, and everything's held in place.
That was a long shot. Yes.
So one of the gentlemen I've had the pleasure of meeting over the last several years is named Ralph, and he is like the Dosaki's beer guy to bow fishing, or to bow hunting, I guess. You know, he's has quite a he's done quite well for himself in being able to do things that he loves to do, traveling the world in bow hunting and traveling the nation in bow fishing.
Got to practice my gaffing skills. It does have a technique to it to get it right.
Again, it's sort of like a scratch-off lottery ticket of bow fishing here when you get to see a goldfish, and much less connect with those little guys. Well, just like some fish like sunning themselves, some of them like hanging out in the shadows, and I've noticed this in like cattails and reeds. You'll have some really nice fish, really big fish, hanging out in the cattails, in the shade of them. Here I'm trying to get my motor out of the way before I run into this log here. Didn't quite get it up far enough, and it ended up basically causing it to lock in position. Failure to stow.
Right between the eyes.
So this fish here ends up being the biggest fish of the day at 22 pounds. It was the biggest fish that I put in the boat. He also gave me a nice little fight too on top of that. If you're ever in the downtown Port Huron area, please stop by and see my store. It's THS Sporting Center, also aka the Hawk Shopping Sporting Center. All things spectacular for projectile dispensing fun. Guns, bows, we got power tools, musical instruments, lots of guitars. We got gold coins, silver coins, gunsmithing services. We are here for you. Have a damn good day or try like hell, my friends.